Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast, Dragon Ball Edition. Today, we are going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter number 82 that just came out a couple of days ago. So we have our Dragon Ball expert with us, Mitchell Oso. How are you doing today, sir?
Oh, doing fantastic as always. How about yourself?
I am doing well, thank you. So we had Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 82. It actually came out on the 18th. I thought it was coming out the 20th, but it came out 2 days early.
Yep. It seems like they always seem to surprise us. I feel like the chapters at the end always tell you whenever it comes out, and I could have swore we would have said it would have came out on the 18th if we knew it, and kind of just came out. So pretty cool stuff, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So, man, you guys, if you've been listening to us for a bit, you know how it is. We go over the chapter, we give our thoughts, and then we just start brainstorming stuff. So, Mitch, why don't you go ahead?
Well, as for all of the listeners right now, wish to apologize for last month's chapter 81. It was supposed to be a special episode for you to listen to. Martin and I were doing it in person. We were reading the chapter live. We've already read it, obviously, but at that time, you were getting our raw thoughts on it as it came out on the 20th on February. But we did not know that we were being rudely interrupted during the entirety of our podcast because we were doing it in my dining room, and we have a water fountain for my pets that is constantly running, and it's kind of just white noise for us. We didn't even realize it, and even during our test of the audio, we didn't hear it. But whenever the podcast was being edited, the microphone picked up all of the water fountain. So if you were listening to that podcast, it sounded basically awful. Wish to apologize for that, but thank you for tuning back into us. Hopefully it's crystal clear now, but yep, just wanted to make that disclosure, live and learn. So, now we know. So, let's get into the chapter here. As Martin said, chapter number 82. This one actually starts off a little interesting. It does not give us the title of the chapter at the very beginning. It will actually give it to us later in the chapter, and it'll explain itself. So chapter 82 starts off. We have been basically watching Goku versus Gas at the moment, and right now Goku is instant transmission. Instant teleporting. I'll just say teleporting. He's teleporting through the cosmos, and he ends up on a planet in which we see some of the Galactic Patrol again, different from Jocko, what we saw in the last chapter. And Gas is following pursuit, keeps attacking. Goku teleports away. He ends up on the planet in which we see the announcer guy from the Universe 6, Universe 7 exhibition match back in the day, a long time ago. Again, they're still fighting, and Goku teleports. We see more Galactic Patrol, and teleports again. And this time, when Gas catches up, he's charging towards Goku and says that you cannot escape from me. Goku, though, has a little tiny plan, and we find out that they have been teleported to where Monica is. For a refresher, Monica is this alien, big-headed dude who was part of the Universe 6, Universe 7 exhibition representing Universe 7. Beerus recruited him, said that he was the strongest by far mortal in Universe 7, and this is the one in which Goku was really excited to fight one day or to see fight in the tournament. And then we find out that Beerus lied to Goku, that Monica is basically a bitch. I'm just going to use the wording like that, and so on and so forth. But Monica is in a dump truck full of cement, and he is pouring it out of the truck, and Goku was able to lure Gas in the into the path of the cement, and it gets gas stuck very temporarily. Goku says that's what you get for warping so recklessly. Again, trying to push the idea into your heads that gas is not experienced the same problem that Granola had and whatnot. Goku tells him to go clean up in the river, and then we'll get back to fighting after that. That just pisses Gas off, and he charges him, and they start fighting again. This time, Goku teleports to the leader of the Galactic Patrol, is that giant octopus guy, and he's taking a bath, and Goku again lures Gas into the bathtub, and he just keeps mocking Gas and whatnot. So we go back to Planet Cereal, and we see Monado is healing Granola, and Alec flies up to where Mackie and Oil are, and ponders where Gas and Goku went. Vegeta, knowing, being able to sense them, can tell that Goku is just buying some time, jumping from planet to planet, just getting away from Planet Cereal. And Alec tells Oil to go and go and look at the tracker and see where Gas is. So, well, then we see Goku and Gas again. This time they have teleported to the Galactic Prison, and they're fighting in there. And Gas tells Goku to stop teleporting. It's basically a waste of his time, and so on and so forth. And Goku makes a remark that if he's ready to admit that Goku is better at instant transmission, and Gas is like, "You're really still on about that?" And the prisoners in the prison. This is Moro's group, and so on and so forth. They're back in jail, and they recognize Gas, and they know the heaters and whatnot, and they ask for Gas to help break them out, and they will help them or him get revenge on Goku. And Gas is like, I don't need your hand. And the henchmen, they get kind of pissed off, and they're like, "Oh, you're real full of yourself. You remember that time whenever you were scared and you wet yourself?" So we have a little bit of humor in this part. Haven't had humor in a little bit, I don't believe. But when these chapters come out once a month, you tend to forget if there was anything funny. But Gas says that he did not, urinate on himself. One of the henchmen said, "You totally did," and then he makes fun of him by saying, "You were like, 'Big brother, I'm scared, come help,' and all this other stuff." And Goku asks if it's true, and Gas is visibly getting more irritated, and he says that there was no urination involved. And the henchmen are like, "What about the wet stains on your crotch?" And then Gas snaps, and he said, "I didn't wet myself. It was only a few drops because I had been holding it in for so long." Can't believe I'm actually even having to even go over this. This is like immature, but it's like whatever. But again, we see that Gas loses his cool, and I guess we learned something just about Gas. Just at one point, he was a child, just doing somebody's bidding, whatever. Well, then Goku, he's like, "Wow, you really did, wet yourself." So, well, we go back to Planet Cereal, and we see the heaters are tracking Gas, and they see that he is at the Galactic Prison, and they see that they keep warping further and further away. And then we go back to Goku and Gas, and Goku asks Gas straight up. He's like, "So do you just do everything that your brother says? And you're way stronger than him, and I bet you can make your own choices." And then we learn a little bit more about Gas and his motives. He says that, "I seek power for Alec's sake alone. I follow his commands in order to make the heaters the supreme organization of the universe." And then he starts throwing some key blasts at Goku, and Goku teleports behind him and says that, "Oh, I got you." I guess you really respect your brother. Gas responds, I was once the weakest among us, but Alec raised me to this level. I would do anything for him. So we have an undying loyalty to family with Gas, to Alec. And I mean, oh, okay, okay. And Goku says, well, that explains it. And Gas just, keeps talking about it. And Goku asks, or are you sure about like how far you can trust him? And then Goku makes a remark about how Raditz came to the planet and tried to kill him. So he's just warning Gas to watch his back. Maybe a foreshadow of something to come, but we'll dive into that. And then we go back to Planet Cereal, and Mackie is asking Alec what are they going to do? And Alec says to forget about them. The only ones left here are half dead already. Let's just mop up the stragglers. So the Heaters are going to go and try to kill Monado and Granola. I assume Vegeta. I don't. I mean, I think Vegeta could still hold his own. I don't know. I guess. Okay. So back at it, we see Goku and Gas. I mean, they're fighting now in outer space on rock planets and whatnot, and Goku keeps teleporting, so on and so forth. And this time he teleports onto a ship, which has the more Galactic Patrol on it. And Goku had blocked the Ki Blast before he had teleported, and he sees that his hands are shaking and they're really hurt. And Goku says that he can't keep up the defense too much longer. And all of a sudden, Goku realizes something or senses something. And he says to himself, well, hang on a second. And he locks onto somebody's signature. Gas had just teleported and is about to stab Goku right through the abdomen. Goku teleports in the last possible moment. And then Gas follows. We find out that Whis felt the energy of Whis. Goku felt the energy of Whis on a nearby planet. We see here that Whis and the Oracle fish are just riding on the back of they look like dinosaurs, kind of like how where like in India they ride on the back of elephants. I apologize if that's stereotypical and that's not actually true, or that's just shown in the movie. So if I'm wrong, please forgive me. If I'm right, well, there we go. We see that Whis and the Oracle fish are just eating ice cream, and Whis looks over and sees that Goku and Gas are standing on top of dinosaurs. Whis completely shocked that Goku is here, and Goku says that it was lucky that Whis was nearby. And he asks, Whis asks Goku, have you come to see me? And I don't know why Goku says this line, maybe in terms of maybe trying to intimidate Gas, if he even has a clue. And Goku says, my master, who happens to be an angel. And Gas looks over at Whis and questions who he is. And Goku asks, sorry, Whis, but can I leave this guy with you for a minute? And Whis, just kind of in shock that Goku even made a request, is just, in shock. And then all of a sudden, Goku teleports away to Gas's astonishment. I don't really know why. But Goku teleports back to all of the places that he had visited while trying to get as far away from Planet Cereal, because he used the energy signatures of all those people that he knew to, jump from place to place. But he did it so quickly that Gas could not follow. So, and since Gas doesn't know those people, he doesn't recognize the signatures to teleport. So, Gas is in shock that Goku is gone, and he can't follow him back. We see that Goku is back on Planet Cereal in a blink of an eye. And as Mackie and Oil were flying over to kill Monado and Granola, he is there to stop them. We get that serious pose from Goku as he looks at people that are going to do harm. Like he's just going to, beat them up and whatnot. It goes back to, or they ask, the Heaters are surprised that Goku is back, but Gas is not. And we go back to Gas, and he's getting rather frustrated that he cannot sense Goku anymore because of what just happened. And then and then Whis kind of just ruins the party here. And looking at his staff, he says, well, if you must know, Goku has returned to planet Serial. It's a distance too great for you to warp directly. And Gas hears this, pissed off, asks Whis which way is planet Serial. And Whis just points, just kind of just nonchalantly, just points in a direction. It's like, that way. And right after that, Gas just explodes in speed and just goes racing off into the middle of space, sprinting towards planet Serial. And then Whis makes a joke. He's like, I wish he would have stayed a little bit longer. All right. And the Oracle Fish asks Whis, who was that? And then Whis, just kind of is like, huh? So kind of interesting that the Oracle Fish says that, and we'll discuss with that. And we go back to Planet Serial, and Goku is now helping pick up Granola, and they're like, we need to just get to safety for now. And we see that Granola's assistant Oatmeal has pulled up a vehicle, since Granola's was split in half a long time ago. He pulled up a vehicle. He's in a little robot creature kind of body right now. Vegeta's in there, and he says to the crew, he's like, hey, let's go take shelter at the old man's house. Goku makes a comment, hey, it's your half talking, half Google thing. Kind of funny to connect it to real life, but all right. And then they run away and whatnot, and Mackie asks if they should unleash their inner nature, is what they call it, inner nature, and fight them. Alex says, no, you're not going to beat that Saiyan. We'll retreat and wait for Gas. And then Alec tells Oil to, keep an eye on. So we see that they are the group, the Z Fighter plus Granola. They're driving to Monado's house, and Goku realizes that he has a device on him, and it says "Hello, Goku." And Goku ponders where this I'm going to call it a phone, essentially. Whis planted it on him, Whis being Whis, and so he can communicate with Goku. And Whis, says, I didn't appreciate you interrupting my dessert time. And Goku just, shrugs it off. And Whis tells Goku that Gas is on his way back to the planet at breakneck speed. Goku can't believe that Gas can fly through space. And that Whis says that he will be there in 20 minutes. And Monado states that that's not enough time to heal Granola. And Vegeta and Goku are both just kind of like, they're just in survival mode. And then Goku states that, hold on one second here, I need to zoom in. All right. And then Whis asks Goku, by the way, I think there's a translation in the actual text here, but it says, by the way, has your training bore fruit yet, Goku? And Goku says, honestly, I'm still having a lot of trouble with that. I just can't keep my heart calm the way you do, Whis. And Whis says, that's understandable, as I am an angel and fundamentally different life form. And Goku says, how do I learn to use Ultra Instinct better? And Whis reiterates that it's up to you to discover your own unique version of Ultra Instinct. As we had learned that there were other, levels to Ultra Instinct. And Whis says, listen to the voice within you deep down. What are you really? All right. And we'll discuss that. And Goku ponders, what am I? what is he? And I must apologize. My computer is now not loading the chapter. Martin, do you happen to have the chapter pulled up?
Yeah.
Can you take it away from there where Monado says, "Hey, son of Bardock"?
Yeah. Hey, son of Bardock, there's something I should show you. So they get back to his little house, which I'm surprised is still around. They put granola on the bed, and Monado comes with something wrapped around in a towel, I'll just say, or in a tissue. And it is something we've not seen in a very long time. And it is a scouter. He said, "Yep, he left behind by Bardock himself. It's yours now by all rights. The scouter was my dad." Vegeta said, "Allow me." So then for the old school people, you get to see Vegeta in a scouter. Thought we haven't seen this in 20 plus years. It was broken. However, there's evidence saved from audio data. And then Moreno says he thought so. "I've had it for 40 years, but can never get it to play. What sort of data?" is what Goku said. Moreno said it's a recording of the fight against Gas. We might figure out how Bardock won the battle if we can get it to work. Obviously, Vegeta says Bulma can repair it, but obviously Bulma is ways away from here. So then Oatmeal, like, give it to me. I can access the circuitry directly and play the audio via the speakers. And then we got the heater saying Gas is headed this way, super fast. And he's going super fast without a spaceship. He really is some kind of ultimate being now. Scouter starts going. Vegeta says it's powered back up. And then you have it going, making some sounds that attack. Had to have some effect. Monado, use this chance to get away for as far as you can. Monado's like, "Oh, that's Bardock's voice." And then I'll slow Gas down. "Listen to me. You two have to stay alive." And then stay alive. And somehow that instantly triggered something in Goku we've never seen in the 30 years of Dragon Ball content, because this makes him remember his dad and mom saying you have to stay alive. For people who don't know, just quick thing, this became the new retcon of Goku stuff during the DBS Broly movie instead of the father of Goku thing, which I personally like better, but that is what it is. So then finally you get the name of the chapter, Bardock versus Gas. You get some things of seeing Bardock fighting Gas, and then Gas talking about, judging from his tail, I suppose it must be a Saiyan, and a powerful fighter too. "We believed only the low-class grunts were sent to the planet. Perhaps we were wrong." They're continuing to fight it out these couple of pages. They're actually having a pretty good fight right now. Then you get to the part where Bardock says that attack had to have some effect. And you basically see in picture form what they said. Bardock saying, "Monado, it's your chance to get away as far as you can. I'll slow Gas down. Listen to me, you two have to survive." They on their way. Gas says, "You can't escape. There's not even a scratch on you." That's what Bardock says. "What a monster. I'm going to end this now. Cannot afford to have lose faith in me here." And he ordered me to handle this without delay. And that is how the chapter ends.
Yeah. There we go.
So what did you think about the chapter?
It's just another filler chapter, per se. Again, just a whole bunch of teleporting and fighting, and then, it wasn't anything different until, at the end, once Goku got back to Planet Cereal, but, it was a pretty good chapter. Again, we're just waiting for to figure out how they're going to beat Gas at this point, and everyone has their theories or whatnot, and who knows what's going to be true. But let's just kind of dissect some things here. So going back to the beginning of the chapter, all the teleporting and whatnot, nothing really to report in terms of thoughts, unless you see something here that I don't. Other than my computer just kind of not wanting to cooperate with me here. It was kind of nice just to see all of these different, people that, they introduced back in, previous arcs, bringing back Monaco. Why do all of these characters have like an M? Like name. Like seriously, like I get it. My name's Mitch. Your name's Martin. I know I know it's cool to have characters in the world that begin with the letter M, but like I got Monica, I got Monato, I got Mackie, I don't know, just and then we got Gas Granola, we got GG's. Like we we need to use the other letters of the alphabet. But no, it was nice to see Monica here using a cement truck just to slow gas down. It's just it's just funny
I did have something with the teleporting though.
that
Well, my thought, which I don't know if anyone else has brought this up in the Dragon Ball community, but if Goku was, and I don't even know if Gas would be able to escape, if Goku was trying to buy them as much time as possible, why didn't Goku instant transmission to Otherworld and leave? How would Gas have gotten out of that?
maybe he didn't want to. And again, no one's talking about that, and it's smart. So what I'm about to say is literally just probably just BS or just devil's advocate. Would you really want to teleport anyone that powerful to Otherworld? Because if those people die, they're dead forever. I mean,
My only pushback to that is like he hasn't attacked really, like he didn't attack Whis's like place, like he hasn't really like physically just went after the people. He's been trying to fight Goku and then like collateral damage, I would say.
yeah,
But I was just thinking about like Goku because it's canonly that he can go to Otherworld alive with instant transmission. So
yeah,
why don't you go to Otherworld? He would. I don't think Gas would have been able to get out.
no, probably not, unless unless he went down to hell and he found a way to get out from there.
And then I
Found
guess
the
also
twins.
too, with like saying that, how far is Goku's instant transmission? If you could basically go to the world of like heaven and hell, I feel like that's super far. So would it? Why could he have instant transmission to a different universe?
I just want to know if like so what is the limit of Goku's instant transmission? Like whenever he's on Earth, he can instant transmission to Beerus's planet. Like he can go to a different dimension. He can go to heaven. He can go to hell. He can do whatever he wants. If he can sense it, he can go to it. Um, so if if from one corner of the universe is too far to instant transmission directly, whatnot, okay, that's fine. But like, are we saying that Beerus's planet is closer to Earth than the other side of the universe?
Right.
Like, I, if we're talking maps here, the map of this universe makes absolutely no sense. Um,
And then
and
also, unfortunately for most people, the prediction was wrong. They did not instant transmission to Broly's planet. And for my special prediction, they did not go to Frieza.
Still, I don't know why we hype Frieza up, and Frieza still has not been introduced, unless Frieza is the is somehow how Bardock wins. That would be funny, but I think I'm almost going to have to give up on Frieza. But right whenever I give up on Frieza, that's when Frieza is going to appear, and I'm going to look like a dipshit even more. Here's the thing: is that instant transmission, it's exactly that. It's instant. You are there from point A to point B instantly. And we have Gas flying through space, and he's going to get back to Planet Serial in 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Like Whis, so Whis cannot get Beerus back from Planet Beerus to Earth. Well, I'm trying to remember if it was in the anime. How long did we tell Beerus? Wasn't it like 26, 25, 35 minutes to
Yeah.
get like using Whis's speed per se? It would take him a half hour to get to Earth from Beerus's planet.
Mhm.
But then And then here's Goku teleporting Gas to the other side of the universe and then blinking his way back all the way to Planet Zero. And Gas can get there in 20 minutes. But Gas cannot feel Goku's energy. Like, okay, I don't get it. Again, it's a whole bunch of contradicting. But the thing is like I don't have a problem with contradicting. Not this one. I'm just nitpicking. I don't have a problem with contradicting as much if stuff is from Z or Dragon Ball, because I mean that was 30 to 40 years ago. Okay, uh, I can get it, but like Super, this is within the past decade. This is fresh new shit, so it's like it doesn't add up.
So yeah, with that was the only thing I had with like the teleporting per se, and then off screen or off pod, I was bringing up like, dude, how is Super Saiyan Blue Goku even surviving this long? Like, Gas should have been able to speed blitz him and put him down in terms of like the power scaling. But it goes back to something we talked about two episodes ago, at least, maybe just one episode ago, is like how Vegeta's little bit of energy that he had left, the last of his, has been able to last Goku this long, and it's been like this for the past 30 years.
I think you had said this too, or I'm going to at least give you credit because I don't remember if you or I said it. It's like, why can't Goku give Vegeta energy?
Mm-hmm.
Why is Goku the most selfish person? Whenever it's Vegeta is the one with the most selfish character. Like,
it's ridiculous. I mean? Or like, I'm just thinking about random places he could have went. Well, I guess there's no one in there. I was like, could Gas have just been left at the hyperbolic time chamber, but then he has to do a Go Tank Super Boo and yell his way out?
It should have.
Or, the age old, but it looks like Whis was on a different planet because we were talking about like if they were on Beerus's planet, I was like, dude, where the hell was Beerus? Why didn't he didn't even avoid taking him to Beerus?
Yep. And we're like, why is Beerus not watching this? Beerus should have been so interested in this. He trained Vegeta, and they had that whole dialogue before they left. Basically, and I'm going to paraphrase. Beerus telling Vegeta, kick their ass. Show that God of Destruction energy is the way to go. And but no, Beerus ain't watching. Beerus is like, psych, bye. We never see him. But why? Hold on, I'm going back. Why is it that the most selfish people are the ones donating energy? Bro, I think Frieza donated energy
for the Spirit Bomb, yeah.
For the Spirit Bomb, but then also after Jiren, after Jiren fucked up UI or Omen or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Now Frieza said it was paying back, making the a deal is a deal, or just getting even for when Goku donated energy back on Namek.
I think that's bad. That's bad writing though, because when Goku gave him energy, he threw an energy disc at him. Like he blasted him. Goku gave him energy, and he's like, "I'm still gonna try and kill you," and tried to shoot him in the back.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna say that's fine writing because that was the first time Goku was with Frieza. Trying to give Frieza a second chance whenever Frieza was at his absolute worst, right? But then if he ever learned, like Frieza betrays him, and then from there on, you can never trust anybody ever again. Where the bad writing then comes into play is Goku should have learned from that situation not to probably sell a Senzu bean, and probably should not have given Moro a Senzu bean. Frieza is the most evil mother effer you have ever run into up until that point, and you tried to do a kind thing, and he almost killed you because of it. You should learn then that everybody evil should not be trusted. So don't give them energy and stuff like that. But Vegeta is a good guy now, so why is Goku not donating? I'm just like, Because it's not like Vegeta knew whenever he donated that Goku was just going to teleport and drag Gas to the other side of the universe. Kind of smart,
Mhm.
but that was not part of Vegeta's plan. It's something.
It's wild, man. But they make it back. Obviously, the biggest thing is the.
Well, hold
Oh, go
on.
ahead.
What was your thoughts about the whole urination of the pants of Gas? Like
I mean, I would have been fine without it. It didn't do anything for. It didn't do anything for.
it probably won't do a damn thing. But I like if there was something in the later chapter that like didn't call back to this, that no way that this is how Bardock beat Gas. He found out that Gas has a weak bladder. That would piss me off. But like if there was more of Gas's development, like he was a kid whenever he was doing all of this bad shit for Alec, and the Alec was just manipulating him. I don't know, like somehow twist it that way, then like I'd be fine with it. But there's absolute like what you said. There's absolutely no reason for this to even be in the chapter. Like it was embarrassing even having to read that. I wish my computer malfunctioned and you would have had to read it. Like, like for real. It's like stupid. All right. So we get back. Let's see. I don't think there's really. Oh, what's your thoughts about Goku basically telling Gas to watch his back from his brother, or Gas's like undying respect and loyalty to his brother? Any thoughts on those? I mean, I like that Gas is super loyal to his brother. I like that. There's like a family aspect in there, even for villains.
Yeah, I agree. It was interesting seeing Goku bring up his brother for the first time, literally since like the Saiyan saga. So that was interesting. And then like him saying that, like, yeah, my big brother's on this. I'm loyal to him to a fault. It's a good, really good dynamic. I don't know if, and also too with writing wise, I don't know why Goku was saying the like, oh, if you're stronger, you can do whatever you want thing, because that worked out bad last time. Because remember, he did that with Majin Buu.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't need to take orders from this guy. He kills Babidi, and then it gets worse. If Babidi's still around, you never have Super Buu
Yeah.
because he would have been able to put him in the ball. So I was like, Goku, do you not remember the last time you said this and how it got worse?
Yeah. Majin Buu was mentally unstable though. So it would Gas try like if Gas killed Alec and he was in charge of his own life, would he try to run this organization or would he turn into a Moro and just try to destroy everything? Like I would feel like he'd still run the organization based off the dialogue that we had here, whereas Majin Buu would have just been destroying all this shit.
True. Uh, It would have been interesting. I mean, I was just like, dude, we tried this before and it did not work. So
Here's the thing. Let's play along and let's say this is a foreshadowing. Let's say the storyline is Goku is foreshadowing that Alec, which we have mentioned before to an extent. Alec, as you have said, the heaters are knowledge and power and smart. They said that in the chapter. And you said that Alec is a master behind all of this shit. Obviously, whatever weakness that Bardock discovered or exploited, the heaters have to know, correct? Like Alec has to know Gas's weakness.
mm,
If this was like the analogy, if this is the Saiyan's tail for the heaters that we're about to discover, Alec has to know it, and at
mhm.
any moment, Alec could kill Gas with it. Like, is that what's coming? Is it they're going to fight Gas? They're going to find out his weakness or something like that, and then they're going to get the upper hand, and then Alec is about to like be the next Vegeta to Nappa with Gas, throw his ass up in the air and blast him to hell. Like Is that is that coming?
And the only reason I would say that wouldn't is because Alec literally just told the other two, like, Goku, who has been super beat up this whole time. I don't know how much he's clinging on to SS Blue, but he's like, even if you guys became unsuppressed, you guys would stand no chance against Goku. So, like, I don't know how he would. Why would he do that without having a way to kill the Saiyans?
Yeah, I mean, does this go back to what was that last thing that Alec was setting up before he arrived at the battle?
That could be when he said he had unfinished.
Yeah, he had unfinished business, or it didn't seem to be a wish because the sky didn't turn dark again. But I don't know what he could have done. But yeah, and then back to Planet Cereal and some more teleportation, and then we get to Whis. I was really whenever I learned and saw that Goku was dropping gas off at Whis, I thought that was the end of gas. Now, granted, it goes against Angel Code and like I just thought that somehow Whis would just immobilize gas, and that would have been so freaking cool. Like, it would have been so cool. But no, we didn't get that. We didn't get that at all. We actually got Whis snitching on Goku.
I mean, he has to be impartial. He's just like, hey, go that way.
Here, let me ask you the question, because I know you're going to ask it to me, or we've already asked it. Where's Beerus? What is Beerus doing?
Probably asleep.
He has to be asleep. He has to be asleep. He's not eating dessert. There's no way he's not here. If Beerus is here, Gas is getting Hakai. Undoubtedly. Like, without even pondering this. Because Goku would have been like, Vegeta got smoked by a guy that got smoked by this dude.
Oh, Lord.
And Beerus would have Hakai'd him. He would have gone over to Planet Cereal. He would have Hakai'd the heaters. And he would have just beat the shit out of Vegeta.
Yeah, but
maybe not, but
yeah, Beerus wouldn't have done anything unless Gas accidentally blasted his pudding away or something. But yeah, man, the Whis thing though, the biggest thing is I have been saying this since the beginning of this arc, and I'm looking like it's gonna be. Obviously, I thought it was going to be against Granola, but it's looking like it's going to be against Gas and Elect. I've been saying since last year that this arc, Goku is going to get UI2, and it's looking like Goku is going to get UI2. That's what I've been naming it. Obviously, it's going to probably be. Actually, you never know at Dragon Ball. It might be named something else, but I've been saying it for a year. UI2 is coming, and that's how they're going to win.
Yeah.
And we all but confirmed it. Talking
yeah, I mean, yeah, during the phone call. I mean, yep. I mean, UI, and I guess that's what we'll call it. We'll just call it UI2. It's coming. It's obviously coming. Does it come? And that's how they win. I mean, I guess. What a bland storyline. like the ending is as the phrase I like to use, it's just copy and pasted. Really. We had a whole bunch of character development from other people, and we just get Goku ending it. Control C, and then Control V, it pasted. Just dumb.
And I told you in our text before this chapter came out, when the pictures got leaked with Bardock and Jitten saying the survive thing, and then out that thing was going with Goku, I was like, dude, this is how they're going to unlock UI2. It's going to be because of this. This is what it's all been leading towards before this even came out.
Yeah. And I'll explain here in a second how I think that might happen, or just how they're connecting it. But you want to know what I almost think people are not talking about that I think they need to talk about. Whis being in the chapter is not the surprise, and it's not what should catch your eye, I think.
Okay.
It's the Oracle fish. The
Mm.
fact that the Oracle fish is in this chapter and says a particular line that just keeps having me stare at it. The Oracle fish sees Gas and asks, "Who was that?" Now remember, the Oracle fish is the one that predicted, you know, the strongest is coming to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he said at the end of that chapter as he's dreaming that the strongest fighter is about to show up. Like, if you can see your dreams and remember them, if you're an oracle fish, like, you should be able to maybe be able to pinpoint who your dreams pertain to. And I can't remember if the oracle fish, he didn't really recognize Goku as the Super Saiyan God that was coming. Maybe he did. I can't remember. Um, but like, is Gas who he was talking about? Because we already originally thought it was Granola, and that does not appear to be the case unless Granola's going to get a power up. Is Gas who he's talking about, or is somebody else coming, like Alec? Like,
That's
because
actually that's actually a really good point. I never actually thought of that. How the Oracle fish was just like, "Who is that?" And then circling back to when he's like the strongest in the universe is about to appear. And obviously, Gas made the wish after Granola, which means he should be stronger than Granola. But if the Oracle fish didn't see like a silhouette of Gas,
mm-hmm.
or he did see a silhouette of Gas of the strongest person in the universe, and it wasn't Gas, but that's actually a really good point on you. Now, is that actually a point, or did they forget what they wrote like 8 months ago?
Yeah. I mean, I would think that they can't. I mean, just because it's what you said, less than a year ago. Like, I get it if it's in Z, but I can't get it whenever it comes to stuff you put in Super. Like like if Toriyama wanted a refresher, he can just hop on Viz here and read the chapters himself. He can look into his little portfolio that's sitting on his desk and read the chapters. There's no way he does not have colored copies of
Right.
the same manga chapters that we could buy. It's just not possible. Like, he just has to open this up and be like, "What did I say about this guy?" Oh, okay. You can't hire an intern to keep tabs on characters and what they say. Like, that's your only job, man. And I'll put it on your resume so that you can get hired here next year.
So going forward though, with like the scouter and all that, which he kept that thing safe for 40 years. That is crazy. And I
Yep.
was gonna give some pushback on the Bardock voice thing, but then I was trying to think throughout canonically of Dragon Ball. I don't think he's ever heard Bardock's voice. So I was actually trying to really think. I was like, man, if this is triggering something now, did this ever happen in the past? And I guess it hasn't happened in the past.
You mean with the voice? You mean before the Broly movie came?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing. I mean, before they retconned it was, I mean, Goku didn't even truly know what his parents looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no way that he could have. And again, that's what was established in Z. But that all changed. Did Bardock and what's his mom's name? Gina. Gina, I think
Jin,
it is.
Gine.
Gine, something like
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm gonna call her Jean or Gina. Did in the movie, yeah, he knew their voice. He could hear them say that, but did they actually say you have to stay alive?
Yeah, I believe so.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least then Toriyama knew that he was going to make this connection. I mean, I'm cool. At first, I think if you go back to our podcast on that, I think I was originally pissed off at that because I don't think I wanted that retcon because
I didn't
Goku
either.
arrived on Earth, all pissed off kid, bunks his head, becomes a good guy. And but I've always wondered why Goku has never met Bardock. why has he not instant transmissioned and just went to hell and just saw him? I mean, he teleports over there.
Oh no, I don't know if he's in hell with the retcon. I really don't.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, he didn't do enough though to go to heaven.
Well, that what we saw, but
I mean,
we don't.
Yeah.
Like at least we knew from the previous thing. Like, all right, he was just a thirsty like Saiyan, so normal. He killed the one dude, which I think that story is still significantly better than the current one. So then he gets the power to see the future, and he wants to repent at the end. And then he gets to, and he's like, "Oh, Frieza's about to kill." Like that, I think is significantly better. And then obviously, he gets to see that it's going to be his son who fights Frieza and eventually beats him.
Yeah.
So that was better, but whatever.
I do like that. There's, they're building this sort of thing between Goku and Bardock. I mean, I like it, but I think this is where I think this is going to be what connects and makes MUI 2. Because when Whis says that you need to discover your own unique version, listen to the voice within you deep down. What are you really? And Goku questions what he is, and right whenever he hears that Bardock says that you have to stay alive, and then he remembers Bardock telling him that he has to stay alive, I think the word that will go through to define what Goku is a survivor.
I 100% agree. I was going to bring that up since this was called the Granola the Survivor arc. We never knew if Granola was the quote unquote survivor they're talking about.
I mean, he's a literal survivor. Like, he has not been killed, and he's the only one left. But Goku is the fighting survivor. Mm-hmm. He has everything he has ever done. It is to fight to survive. And when think about, I mean, everything he's done. But let's talk transformations. Super Saiyan 1 is the epitome of fighting to survive. He was literally about to die after the strongest spirit bomb they had ever conjured up could not kill Frieza. And then his friends were dying in front of him, and he was next. He literally, him and his son were next in line to die. And then he's a fighting survivor. Right?
So that is true. And even with all your transformations, because you brought up Super Saiyan 1, and again, Dragon Ball Z, Goku told Gohan, the power comes in response to a need, not a desire. The need to survive. There you go. Connecting it to the Dragon Ball Z. It's been right there.
I didn't make that connection. Holy shit. Great job.
I was actually just watching that scene today where when Goku was telling Gohan it comes to response to a need, not a desire. And now you brought up the survive thing, and there we go.
Yeah.
Goku's been saying it all along since Cell Saga.
And so you got all that. And this is how Ultra Instinct came. Ultra Instinct, Omen came, and again, I like to reference anime more. Omen came after Goku almost freaking died to the spirit bomb that Jiren pushed back at him. And so then he fights Jiren to that. And then he is about to get punched in the face off of the rock by Jiren again. And he goes Omen one more time. Again. And then, they're fighting. And then Goku is on that other rock. And Jiren is sending a barrage of punches. And he's decimating the rock in which Goku is standing on. Goku fighting to survive. He has no other way of getting to safety other than to charge right up to Jiren and whatnot. And Goku and Frieza fighting Jiren along with 17. And they have to fight together to survive to knock out Jiren and go Super Saiyan. Even though as you love it, you love that when Goku is charging Jiren with Frieza at the end of there, he's like blinking Super Saiyan. He is trying
I do love
anything
it.
he can to go Super Saiyan to get that power edge over Jiren. And Moro's the same thing. Okay, everybody gets it now. I don't even think I need to explain it anymore. Goku is fighting to survive. That is how, and that's going to be his ultra instinct. It's not going to be like an Angels, like Miras or Moro, all these M's. Anyways, what was the other one I was trying to think of earlier? Or like Whis. He's not going to be permanent ultra instinct all the time. He is literally going to have to struggle to survive. And the thing is that's how Goku that's how he unlocked MUI was during Tournament of Power. And you remember Whis gave that dialogue that Goku was, he wasn't thinking about the universe and his survival. He was only thinking about Jiren in the fight. And then the intense emotions that were burning like a fire, whatever we said. When Goku is backed in the corner, that's whenever he will be what he needs to be.
So, for keeping on track, sake of time wise, so let's just get this out of the way, because we saw this picture. I don't want to spend too much time on it. So we saw this picture not even a couple weeks ago during the No Way Home buzz, because everyone was supposed to be in that movie. So the picture came out of fake Super Saiyan Bardock being in the chapter, and the fan base was not happy at all. Terrible. Now, No Way Home came out in December. Obviously, now we're in March. This chapter is coming out in April. Are we at the point now? Do we think Bardock went Super Saiyan accidentally, or false Super Saiyan, somehow shaved off gas, but then completely forgot he did it by the time Frieza blows up Splendid Vegeta? So, are we at that point now?
I mean, okay. Let's do. I do have a point about why Okay, anyways, Super Saiyan. Let's say Bardock does go Super Saiyan. He has to forget that he went Super Saiyan, right? This has to be like when Gohan was training with Goku in the hyperbolic time chamber before the Cell games. Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 and then completely forgot all about it because it was just too overwhelming for him.
Mm-hmm.
So that has to happen if Bardock does go Super Saiyan. He has to defeat Gas, get out of there, and then faint and pass out. And then, I don't know. But, do I want it? I don't think I care. Because I'm like, does it matter? Doesn't matter. In terms of, before we talk about if it's even right, let's talk about the story. Is it right that Bardock should go Super Saiyan, and that's how he defeats Gas? Like a power-up? Not a special technique or a weakness to Gas, but just getting strength? Is that bullshit? Is that weak? That's weak. I'm not even going to ask it. That's weak. That's we're hyping this up of how we're going to defeat Gas, and all that we're going to get is a realization that Goku was not the first Super Saiyan in a millennia. Would that disappoint you?
Absolutely. And because my thing would be
in terms of fighting Gas, would that disappoint you?
Yes.
Yeah. It's pointless. So even if he turns Super Saiyan, that's fine, but something else has to happen to defeat Gas. He needs the power to exploit this weakness in Gas. That's not just, I'm going to shoot you with a ki blast, or I'm going to punch you real hard with a javelin, whatever his move's called. So
it would disappoint me in a whole bunch of that way. And obviously the way to so in terms of power, weak Gas fighting you one-on-one force you to go Super Saiyan and you forgot. But Frieza blowing up your planet which meant you and your wife were going to die. You saw him shooting the black ball, the death ball, and you fired something at it in both versions and didn't work. But that fear of did not trigger the Super Saiyan thing inside you. That would piss me off.
That fight for survival that we're talking about Goku has, Bardock doesn't have. He'll fight for survival to protect him, fake Namekian, and a kid to a mother that he had almost killed himself. He will turn Super Saiyan to protect them and himself, but he won't turn Super Saiyan to protect his own family. But now the thing is that Granola reminds him of his family. So, like, if Bardock is trying to hold Raditz and Goku in the same regard as what he was holding Granola, then he doesn't hold the same whenever he's actually on the freaking planet trying to protect his race and his wife and, I guess his kids also. So,
yeah, so those are just things that we're going to find out next month.
Would you be upset? Do you think would this? I can see it go both ways. If Bardock turns Super Saiyan, does that take away from Goku being the first Super Saiyan because he's not anymore? Do you think that takes away anything?
For the people who have watched Dragon Ball Z and all of that, I think yes and no. For the people who just got into Super, no, because they don't know any better. But for the people who watched Dragon Ball Z, I say yes and no for literally the same argument. Because Super wasn't even supposed to freaking exist. So they just Battle of Gods and Resurrection have made too much money, and then this stuff happened. So it's and obviously it's canon, but I'm nah, man. The original Dragon Ball manga, Goku was the first. This is all just extra stuff at the end.
Yeah.
Which both sides can use that same argument. I don't think it'll take. It's just whatever day you're on. Someday it'll take away, but then when you go to sleep the next day, it's I don't care. It's Super. They suck.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Fair.
Anything else, man? Trying to keep us on the good time as we've hit the hour mark.
I don't know anything about Dragon Ball, or at least this chapter.
Okay.
You got anything else about Dragon Ball or any of this chapter, or am I going to zing you some Batman questions here to round it off?
Sure. Only thing about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball related is there was a hack at Toei, so the Dragon Ball Super movie in Japan is getting pushed back for people who are looking forward to the movie, which I don't know if that pushback is going to have anything to do with us in the States, because we're not getting the movie in April. We're supposed to get it in the summer. So I hope that doesn't push us back as well.
It doesn't bother me too much. Two reasons. One is that the hype for their movies. Now, granted, it's only the second one, and it's the first one in a few years. The hype for their movies have not had the same type of hype that I've had for Marvel movies or DC movies. They just haven't. I don't have a calendar with a big old circle on it that this movie is coming out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited, but I'm not dying every single second of the day. This needs to get here ASAP. I'm not flicking my fingers for it to get here. I would with Doctor Strange or the next Avengers or whatever it might be. So it's if it's delayed, it sucks, but it's going to come out and I'm going to see it. Absolutely. The second thing is I kind of chuckle because I do side with content creators even if I don't necessarily like them or agree with them. I understand that it's a little bit of a cultural change between here in the States or maybe some other countries and Japan in terms of what is fair use. And And I know there's other Japanese companies that are, they're trying to hit everyone with a copyright claim, and they're trying to just stack up as many lawyer fees and drive people, just into the dirt. So I don't know what this hacker's intent was. If they're just trying to get money, I'm kind of bummed. Oh well. But if they're if they're hacking so that they can try to make a statement, then I'm all for it. I'm just like, gung ho, man. You do you, and you give a voice to the voiceless, or some shit like that. So yeah, I have no sympathy for like Toei or anyone like that. I think the community is what has kept this franchise truly alive during their hiatus, where they didn't do a damn thing for decades. And you know and then someone got the hint that nostalgia is what brings in money nowadays, and they're like, well, let's revive Dragon Ball. You didn't have to revive it. It was still alive because of the because of the fandom. So it's so I don't know. Maybe I'm petty. Screw them. Screw them. Totally not Mark. If you're listening to me, I support you. I support you, man. Love your stuff. So yeah. Anyways.
But yeah, so special thing then. You said you had some questions to end the pod on a different topic. So go ahead. Special for the
Alrighty, everyone
out there.
So if you've only listened to the Dragon Ball stuff, I appreciate you much. I really do. But there is a lot of other stuff in which you guys could listen to, various topics. But Martin is like my go-to whenever I have comic questions, like in terms of actual comics, not like the stuff that happens on a big screen. I have knowledge of. The stuff that happens in a comic book, I do not. I don't read comic books of DC and Marvel and whomever like I do with the Dragon Ball like manga, like right. So where's my go-to? He is the Batman expert. Batman is undoubtedly it's his favorite superhero. If I ever have a question, if I ever go on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, it says call a friend. It's a Batman question. I'm calling Martin because I'm going to win that $1,000,000, or I'm going to get it wrong and he's going to owe me $1,000,000, whatever it might be. And so I went and saw, the Batman, and Martin has a podcast, and over that, and him and Byron did a fantastic job. And here's just some of my questions in regards to it, and then maybe I'll give my opinion and get shot down. It's perfectly acceptable on this one. So you did not like the car chase, is that correct?
Compared to the previous movies, no.
Oh, fair enough. So you enjoyed it? Just whenever you compare it to another, you did. It's just not up there. Correct?
Yeah, and it's funny when I was doing I was getting ready for that episode and thinking about things I didn't like, I actually thought of you because I know how much you love the Batman Begins car chase.
Well, the Batmobile is like the Batmobile in whatever medium it is. It has to be freaking good in my eyes. Whether it's a video game, whether it's a movie, or if you were ever to show me a comic, like if the Batmobile is not an A plus, then it's an F. And
Mm-hmm.
but I really like that car scene. But there's one thing I wanted to mention about that car scene. I mean, I got really turned during that car scene. I actually did whisper over to Kayla. I was like, oh fuck yeah, right whenever the engine got turned on. I was so pumped. I always poke you with this whenever it comes to Batman. And you might be surprised maybe at my thoughts, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. Batman is not supposed to kill people, but how many innocent people did he kill chasing down Penguin?
I mean,
There's no way those truck drivers are alive.
no, probably not. There was a lot of collateral, and that's what people always get on the movies about the no kill thing. But then they want people to believe in those car chases the way that they direct them, that no one dies.
Bruce ramped off the dead carcasses.
He literally
those
did.
Truck drivers to get the penguin, man.
Yeah, he did. I mean, yeah. I mean, those. There's no logical way any of them would have survived.
No, but here's what I wanna throw at you is that this movie was all about Batman or Bruce becoming the Batman that you've seen, the one that you know about, the professional, the genius, the seasoned veteran. Is that okay for a storyline that he indirectly was kind of reckless in that scene because he's young, and then he would mature. And again, I don't even know if I'm thinking that right because we are talking about a car scene that just killed innocent people. But would a Batman of Christian Bale's stature even have risked trying to get to the Penguin in that manner? Is there a growing opportunity for that? Is that actually good that we saw a reckless Batman?
So I guess my thing with that is how would you, because you brought up Christian Bale saying, which one are you basing? Because remember, Batman Begins, he did all that in his first year.
Yeah.
So it's like he understood that. So it's like, what are you, like if you're basing off Dark Knight, Chris? No. But go ahead.
Maybe it's can you actually sit there and say, is there not a learning curve to being Batman?
No, there is. There's 100% a learning curve.
Well, that's with anything. Even as you and I progress through life here at 30 years old, we've learned a lot more than what we were at 20 and 10. But when we're 40 and 50, there's going to be a ton more that we're going to understand and be able to handle better, as it is. So Bale's version, he learns to be Batman, and then he is Batman. It'd be like a cheat code to go from level 1 Batman when he's practicing with Ra's al Ghul, and then level 100 Batman right whenever he gets to Gotham and he's taking out henchmen before he fights Scarecrow. Is this a natural progression for Bruce? Is do you enjoy that, or would you rather not see him kill anyone at all?
No, I had no issues per se with seeing the progression, because you see it throughout. Shoot, if you even think about the scene where he has to glide, he was nervous to jump, and I sat there, I was like, wait, are you afraid? And I was just thinking, it's your second year. Should you be afraid to be jumping off of rooftops now? So it's just those things. So learning curve. But if they're going, it'll be fine then if they actually make it all the way to a trilogy. Because then you'll go with more and you'll see him do more and more stuff compared to the first one. Then you're like, oh my gosh, see how much he's grown. Because Courtney's sitting with me. She was just like, man, this is really realistic because he's actually getting hit. I'm not used to seeing him get hit by people unless it was a person of his same thing or one of the villains. Oh, fair enough, because he was taking hits from the people at the beginning of the damn movie.
Yeah, it was actually nice to see him get his ass kicked. To be honest with you, he got his ass kicked the entire movie.
Yeah,
that is realistic that he was getting his ass kicked. Now, here's one thing. I know you've shown me some bat suits that are full armor, but if we want to make Batman in these movies bulletproof, can we put something over his mouth?
It's actually funny because the current run, it's an alternate timeline called future state. The Batman of that time frame does have something that covers his mouth.
It just makes sense. he got shotgun blast in the chest at the end of that movie. I mean, unless he got shot with a slug, like those pellets should be. He should not have teeth. Like, like really should he when spoiler alert, I guess. I don't know if I needed to actually say that, but like, when that was it the DA who had the bomb neck or the
Yeah,
around yeah.
it was the DA.
Batman was right next to that bomb whenever it exploded. Let alone he should have had a concussion. He should have had burn marks on his face. Like, and he had nothing. I get
Yeah.
it. It's a movie. I'm nitpicking. I'm a douche. I 100% true. Like, I'm just like, seriously. So that's it. I got two other things, unless
Sure.
you
Nope.
wanted to go off what I just said.
No, go ahead. Go
Okay,
ahead.
two. The second one. You want to know what I wish they did at the end, but they didn't, or at least maybe I missed it, was at the beginning of the movie, that sweet line that we saw in the trailer and the sweet line right at the beginning whenever they asked who he was and he said, "I'm vengeance."
Mm-hmm.
I wish at the end, because we learned that line of "I'm vengeance" and what they were saying was that Bruce was learning that he needed to be more for the city, that I'm thinking he said this, that he was being that pent up anger and frustration and vengeance that is in the city, but he needs to be better than that. And that's why, Riddler's henchman at the end of there said that his name was Vengeance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they're all copying like the mindset or their perceived mindset of who Batman is. I
Mm-hmm.
wish at the end Batman would have introduced himself like as like, "I'm Batman." You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, did he not do that? Did he not say that at the end? I
No, he
don't think
did.
so.
He didn't.
Like, I think that would have been a great step towards what I would believe to be a more, or you know, Bruce growing up into, or Batman growing up. I guess you can say. I wish he had said that, but nitpick, because I never considered that, and I don't know why that you know people would just mimic Batman. Hell, they did that in The Dark Knight. Well, I'm not wearing hockey pads, whatever, hockey pants, whatever.
Well,
Um,
I guess that was a little different because it goes off to the thing what you previously just said. They were inspired by the symbol, like, oh, someone to them, a normal dude's doing what he's doing his best to do with the city. He's showing us we don't have to be afraid of these criminals anymore. Let's take matters into our own hands, just like he did. And like in the Dark Knight, after that scene, Bruce and Alfred had the talk because Alfred was joking, like, oh, maybe we should give those people a night off. And then Bruce was like, when I meant to be a symbol, I didn't mean like, people actually
yeah,
trying to risk their lives. And he's like, I know, but you're having an effect. And then points out Harvey Dent, like the stuff's working. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't think about Alfred's dialogue there. That's true. The other part, I watched a guy I watch on YouTube for movie reviews, Jeremy Johns. I don't know if you've ever watched him.
mm-hmm.
One thing that he said, and I think some people have said, is that there wasn't enough Bruce in this movie. Um, Honestly, I like that for what they were doing with the movie. Did you want more Bruce before I dive into, or were you okay with more Batman for this particular movie? Like,
Well, for this, it's interesting because for this particular movie, I guess I would say I was okay with it, but Bruce Wayne is the most important tool to being Batman, since being Bruce Wayne comes with the resources,
mhm.
the alibi, and all of that. So not seeing that alibi was a little bit like, eh. But I would say that for hopefully in the second movie, since his dad's money with the renewal was being abused because there was no Wayne around to like take care of all that stuff. So I think in the next movie we'll hopefully see a little bit him using the Bruce Wayne thing as a tool as well.
I liked that there was hardly any Bruce because, and this goes to if a listener or a viewer thinks that a sequel can make an original better or not. If you think that's possible, then you might agree with me. If you think movies are kind of, in a way standalone, then I guess it won't matter because if Bruce is like a visual, positive, and so is Batman. But when Bruce Wayne does something positive for the community, everyone knows Bruce. With Batman, you don't know who's behind the identity per se.
Mm-hmm.
Batman they're two separate people or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But while Batman is fighting criminals and beating them down and whatnot, Bruce can be doing positive enforce or positive change around the city. He can be the one who does a donation or is you could see him in a soup kitchen, helping the homeless or whatnot. But it was whoever the lady was who got elected mayor, right? At the funeral.
You can be doing more for the city.
You could be doing more for the city. If in a sequel, Bruce was just focused solely on Batman,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not balancing it with the Bruce side, the change that he can do as Bruce. But I like that because again, this is Bruce, growing up, Batman growing up. This is in the first 2 years. If this was 10 years into this and he just said screw Bruce, then that's I almost would say that's bad. That's a bad character. But I don't know. I don't know. Do you agree with that? Or does Bruce not use the Bruce side for positive change? It's all Batman and just Bruce's money. You know what I mean?
No, he uses the Bruce side for positive change. No, I would agree with that.
So that's the thing. If the second movie, the sequel comes out, and Robert Pattinson is, back in it, and we see him more, Bruce Wayne scenes making positive change. I think that would be a nice story trend of character development.
No,
One last thing.
Sure.
I heard this is not about the actor because who was the character or who was the actor who played the Riddler?
Paul.
Sorry, I just kind of threw you on the spot there.
Paul something. I know it was Paul Dano.
I didn't know his name prior, but he was in a whole bunch of low or indie films, I think. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, and so people were talking about is Paul's performance as Riddler on par with Heath's performance of the Joker, and I will give that a hard no. Just because I think what Heath did was, fantastic. Not saying what Paul did was not. You just can't compete with Heath. But I want to ask this: is the Riddler in the two movies? Did Riddler was he a better villain? And you can say no before I say this, because Riddler did something that Joker could not do, that Joker tried to do. You remember at the end of The Dark Knight, Joker tried to show the evil side of Gotham by having the inmates and the regular civilians try to blow each other up. And then they didn't. And that shocking realization that Joker could not get the city to turn on itself, help Batman win. But Riddler manipulated Gotham residents on his social media account to turn on the other citizens of like Gotham. Is Riddler a more thought out villain than what Joker was, or is Joker just the better villain than what Riddler was? What's your take?
I think it was just different times, and it was left to the devices of the directors. Obviously, in 2008, people weren't worried about freaking Twitch, and like it wasn't used for that type of influence and things like that. As in 2022, that is a real life thing that people can get manipulated on Twitch for those type of things, and that could happen. So, I mean, I think it was just obvious. If the Dark Knight was written in 2022, we would have had a whole bunch of Joker people. I don't even have to go back to 2022. You can just go back to Joaquin Phoenix's thing, how his Joker, depending on how you interpret that movie, he manipulated the whole city to go into anarchy because they only cared about the rich people. So, I mean, I'll just go back to Joaquin's. He was able to do it. So, without Twitch, he just literally shot in the head. So,
fair enough. All right, well, that's all my Batman. Well, actually, I have like 10 million more, I think, but
okay, but we'll talk about that after we're done recording, since we're done recording on that. But thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Thank you, Mitch, for being our Dragon Ball expert. Only thing to add on this, we're actually recording on the 1 year anniversary of us hitting 1,000 listens last year. So it's kind of crazy that it's already been a year since we hit that and that we're still plugging along. Hopefully we'll have the announcement of hitting 3,000 in the next month or two. So
thanks for listening, everyone. Appreciate you.
And everyone take care.
Yep. Have a good night.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.